Same as all the other fights, I'll knock him out. I might have to absorb a few punches, maybe be down a few rounds, things like that. But come the what, 10th, 11, maybe I'll save it for this. I've done 10, 11, so maybe I'll save it for the 12th this time.
The boxing world is buzzing with speculation after legendary fighter Roy Jones Jr. dropped a stark warning about a potential matchup that has fans salivating.
Tyson Fury is a better boxer because he's been boxing longer, he has more experience. But Wardley's a guy that you can't count him out till the last bell ring.
The heavyweight landscape is experiencing a seismic shift as Tyson Fury emerges from what many assumed would be a permanent retirement. After calling it quits in January of last year following consecutive losses to Alexander Usyk, the 37-year-old fighter known as the Gypsy King shocked the boxing community by announcing his intention to lace up the gloves once more. The decision came after a year away from competition, during which time the sport continued evolving without him. Many observers had believed Fury still possessed plenty to offer, despite falling short against the masterful Ukrainian on two separate occasions throughout the previous year, and it appears those instincts were correct. What makes this comeback particularly interesting is the strategic approach being taken by Fury's camp. Rather than diving straight back into championship-level competition, his manager Spencer Brown has been adamant about the necessity of a preparatory bout. The plan involves Fury shaking off the inevitable ring rust that accumulates during such an extended layoff before considering any serious challenges. One name that keeps surfacing as a potential warm-up opponent is Arslanbek Makhmudov, a towering Russian fighter who stands 6 feet 6 inches tall and recently notched a decision victory over British slugger David Allen back in October. But the real intrigue centers around what could happen after that initial tune-up fight. Wardley has emerged as a tantalizing possibility for a major showdown later in the calendar year.
Who do you think will win, Wardley or Fury, if they fight? I personally think Wardley knocks him out. Wardley could knock him out. Yeah, my days of backing against Wardley are done. Fury's 37. I can't remember. It's been a long time since Fury put in a real good performance and won. Obviously, I thought he was okay against Usyk twice, but it's 2 L's. He's 37. I mean, you guys saw him punching the bag. He wasn't in the best shape. Wardley's confident.
The WBO world champion has been on an absolute tear, capping off a remarkable stretch by finishing Joseph Parker in the 11th round back in October of last year. That victory initially earned him the WBO interim title, but circumstances would soon work in his favor. When Usyk decided to vacate the full championship rather than defend against the dangerous Ipswich fighter, Wardley found himself elevated to undisputed WBO champion status. The 31-year-old has transformed himself into one of the division's most feared punchers, boasting an impressive record that shows 19 knockouts in 21 professional appearances. His journey to the top has been anything but conventional, having come from a white-collar boxing background with limited amateur experience. Yet none of that has mattered once the bell rings. His knockout of Justus Huni in May stood out as a particular highlight, with many considering it a strong candidate for knockout of the year after he rallied from behind on the scorecards to produce a spectacular finish.
Do you think Fury would always be able to beat Fabio Wardley because he's good at negating people's attributes, and Fabio is a great fighter but very limited in the skill set. He doesn't have that pedigree of boxing. He's fit and strong and determined. You think Fury would be able to just negate it, but if he's not in shape, if he's way out of shape, then that could be a tall order for him.
When Jones weighed in on the potential matchup during an appearance with Clubhouse Boxing, he emphasized the experience advantage that would belong to Fury. The former champion across multiple weight classes acknowledged that Fury's lengthy career and accumulated ring wisdom would make him the superior pure boxer in such an encounter. However, Jones was quick to add a crucial caveat that should give Fury's camp serious pause. The danger posed by Wardley's power means that Fury could never afford a moment of relaxation from the opening bell until well after the final round concludes. Jones went so far as to suggest that Fury would need to remain on high alert even during the minutes before and after the actual fight itself, such as the threat level presented by his potential opponent.
If he ends up fighting Tyson Fury, how do you see a fight like that playing out?
Tyson Fury is a better boxer because he's been boxing longer, he has more experience. But Wardley's a guy that you can't count him out till the last bell rings. So Tyson Fury will have to be on pins and needles from round 1 to the end of round 12. From a few minutes before round 1 to a few minutes after round 12. because Wardley is that dangerous.
Renowned trainer Shane McGuigan offered his own take when speaking with pro boxing fans, confidently predicting that Fury would emerge victorious on the judges' scorecards. McGuigan's reasoning centered on a tactical analysis of how the fight would unfold. According to the respected coach, Wardley's effectiveness diminishes significantly when opponents refuse to engage with him on his terms. The Ipswich fighter generates his devastating power by stepping forward into his punches, and his footwork limitations mean he struggles to pursue elusive targets. McGuigan pointed out that Wardley's apparent vulnerability often proves deceptive, as opponents who sense an opportunity and rush in for what they believe will be an easy finish frequently find themselves on the receiving end of a fight-changing counterpunch. The trainer suggested that Fury's discipline and ability to stick behind his jab while maintaining distance would prove to be the deciding factors. Someone with Fury's ring intelligence and experience could exploit these weaknesses by simply refusing to give Wardley the type of fight he needs to be successful.
But really, Fabio is only good when you go to him. That's why Tyson Fury beats him, in my opinion. It's because they'll just go away from him. He can't pick his feet up. Like he generates that power when you come in. And he looks so rocky all the time that people go in for the finish and he just turns one over and pulls one out of the bag. So, someone that will be disciplined like Fury and will just stick behind his jab, and he can sense it, I think beats him. I think the likes of Caballero versus Fabio will be a great fight, and I think genuinely Fabio has a chance of knocking him out because there's vulnerabilities there, and he's too ignorant to the fact that he has to step back and do something else. He just keeps walking forward, and there's only so many times he can do that before he gets flattened. And then obviously you've got the Moses Atumas of this world and stuff that would be far too sharp for Fabio Wardley. So it's just Frank Warren's got he's got his belt secured with Fabio, and then he can just navigate it between who he wants with Fury and Moses Tuma.
Yet not everyone shares such confidence in Fury's chances. Former three-weight world champion Duke McKenzie pulled no punches when discussing the matchup with Boxing Social. The 62-year-old pundit has grown weary of what he perceives as the endless cycle of Fury retirement announcements and comebacks. McKenzie questioned whether the public even cares anymore about another chapter in what he characterized as a heavyweight soap opera. Despite his fatigue with the situation, McKenzie acknowledged that if Fury genuinely wants to reclaim world-class status, Wardley represents the most logical and necessary challenge available. When pressed to predict the outcome, McKenzie didn't hesitate. He views the matchup as featuring a fighter clearly ascending toward his prime against one potentially on the downslope of his career. At 31, Wardley remains young, hungry, and motivated by the prospect of defeating a name as significant as Fury.
No, I'm not surprised, and like I said before, I'm bored with it. Everybody's bored with it. If you're going to fight, fight. If you're not going to fight, go and get a day job. Go and do something else. Join a circus. Become a TV celebrity. Just crack on with life. There's more things. People got more things to worry about and concern themselves about, whether or not Tyson Fury is actually going to fight again. He's been out of action for quite some time now, and he keeps banging on about, I'm going to return to the boxing. Am I or am I not? I don't really think anybody gives a damn anymore. I really don't. If he wants to get back into world-class contention, then there is no other fight out there for him other than Fabio Wardley. However, first of all, he couldn't take Fabio Wardley as a warm-up fight because Fabio Wardley is not an opponent. Fabio Wardley is a world champion in his own right. So let's just get that straight. He's not an opponent. Secondly, if he has a fight in the build-up to Fabio Wardley, and then he calls out Fabio Wardley and says he wants to fight Fabio, it's not going to end well for him. Now, I've picked against Tyson Fury several times previously, and I'm not bragging, but I haven't been wrong. Several times I picked against him. The Usyk fights, both of them, I was right. And Fabio Wardley right now is all wrong for Tyson Fury, because you got one guy clearly on the ascendancy, on the way up, Fabio Wardley. Young, hungry, hits hard, wants that big name. Enter Tyson Fury, ticks every box Fabio Wardley could ever want. We still haven't seen the best of Fabio Wardley, I promise you that, because he's still learning. Even as a world champion, he's still learning. So right now, right now as we speak. If I was a gambling man, I'm picking Fabio Wardley all day long.
Adding another voice to the conversation, David Price brought a unique perspective as someone who actually holds an amateur victory over Fury from their days coming up through the British system. The former British and Commonwealth heavyweight champion defeated Fury back in their amateur days during a bout that took place in the spring of 2006. He said, as he's coming off a layoff, he should avoid Fabio Wardley. He's got momentum, he's young, he's fresh. I'd tell him to avoid that. But you've got to look at the risk-reward element, and I think there's more risk than reward with Wardley. Fury might be better off fighting someone who's moving up from cruiserweight in his comeback bout. Meanwhile, Wardley himself has been remarkably relaxed about the entire situation. When asked about Fury's plans to take a warm-up fight before potentially facing him, the champion responded with characteristic confidence, bordering on dismissiveness. Speaking to Boxing Social, Wardley expressed hope that Fury is training hard and shedding weight during his current stint in Thailand. He playfully suggested that Fury might not actually need a preparatory bout at all, cheekily referring to himself as just little old me while insisting he poses no real trouble. However, Wardley also issued a subtle warning wrapped in politeness. He acknowledged that if Fury feels a warm-up fight is necessary, that's perfectly acceptable, and he should do whatever he needs to do. But Wardley made it clear he hopes such a fight doesn't turn into an unexpected stumbling block that prevents their eventual meeting. The champion ended his comments by essentially telling Fury to give him a call once he's finished with whatever preliminary business he needs to handle.
I can get Fury out of there, 100%. I can knock out anyone in this division. There's endless comparisons between me and Wilder. And Wilder's had him down I don't know how many times, and I'm a bit younger, a bit fresher, got a few more tricks in my pocket, so if Wilder can do it, I can do it. I see myself getting him out. Like, I can actually see it as well because I know I can get to him. It's all huge reasons to be proud. I'm massively proud of my career and the trajectory and how things have gone and where we are currently as well. Like, there's nothing to not be happy with. So yeah, it is a bit of a wild one when I sit there and see that he wants a piece of me sometime in the year. So when you look at the kind of beginning of my career and the early stage and stuff to them being now, I don't think there's many people who would have pieced them two ends of it together.
Adding another dimension to the comeback narrative, former two-weight world champion Carl Frampton offered psychological insight into why Fury continues this pattern of retiring and returning. Speaking with the Action Network, Frampton suggested that Fury genuinely loves the sport in a way that transcends financial motivation or championship glory. The Belfast fighter noted that even during his supposed retirements, footage would surface showing Fury running, hitting bags, and staying active in various ways. He said, "I just think he loves it. I know other guys like that. It wasn't me. Towards the end of my career, I was looking out, and I wanted to get out, and I wanted to relax and spend time with my family, and not have to get up early and do the runs, or not have to do the hard rounds in the gym. But I think Tyson's someone that just enjoys that. I think it's the 5th time he's come out of retirement. Something like that. I have the feeling Tyson Fury will continue to fight while the British Board of Control give him a license." The broader context surrounding Fury's return involves his stated ambitions for the year ahead. According to Brown, Fury is targeting 3 fights throughout the calendar year, something he hasn't accomplished since back in 2018. This aggressive schedule suggests Fury isn't content with just testing the waters, but wants to make up for lost time. His publicly stated hit list includes a trilogy fight with Usyk, alongside potential matchups with Anthony Joshua and Wardley. Fury has been documenting his training camp in Thailand through frequent social media updates, showing himself working in sweltering conditions that reach into the mid-30s Celsius. He's expressed a desire to weigh in under 19 stone for his return, indicating a commitment to arriving in optimal physical condition. Recent Instagram footage showed him teasing a massive announcement regarding his comeback plans, sending fans into speculation overdrive about when and where he'll make his return to action.
Just done a brutal session here. Whew. Second session of the day, I'm not gonna lie, that was tough. Did a good 12 rounds in the gym. It was about 34, 35 degrees, sweating alive. I got my electrolytes here, get all the goodness back in my body after sweating it all out. It's been a really positive day again. I suppose when you wake up in 30 degrees every day, it's definitely going to be positive. So yeah, I'm very motivated, very happy, and I'm in a fantastic place, mentally, physically and emotionally, and I'm ready. Just working on stuff nice and steady. The return on the mark is imminent. I Can't wait for a fantastic, beautiful year. In the mighty name of Jesus. Thank you. Get up.
The expectation is that Fury will fight sometime before the end of April in what's being described as a homecoming event, potentially in Manchester. From there, the summer months could bring a significantly bigger challenge depending on how the warm-up bout unfolds. Wardley, meanwhile, is expected to make his first championship defense during the first half of the year, with veteran heavyweight Derek Chisora emerging as a likely candidate to challenge for the title. What makes this entire situation compelling is the contrast between where these two fighters currently stand in their respective careers. Fury approaches his 38th birthday, having experienced countless grueling battles over a 17-year professional career. His only professional defeats came against Usyk, but the wear and tear of so many years competing at the highest level inevitably takes its toll. He sat out the entirety of the previous year after those back-to-back losses, and questions naturally arise about whether he can recapture his previous form.
It's really simple with Tyson, it's all about money.
Tyson Fury is now making a comeback. When are you looking at seeing him back in the ring?
He wants to fight in April and he wants to fight again in the summer, and that's the roadmap for him. The Saudis have indicated the fights that they want. They're talking about the AJ fight. Unfortunately, a terrible tragedy that AJ was involved in where he lost his two mates and also guys who were involved in his training team. That's going to hit him really hard mentally, and I don't know, where he's going to fight or if he's going to be ready to fight. So we'll see what happens, but that was what the roadmap was. But AJ, I can't speak for. I don't know what AJ is going to do. And no one should be pressuring him anyway. Whatever he chooses to do, he'd choose and do in his own time.
Conversely, Wardley represents the new generation knocking at the door. His rise through the ranks has been meteoric, despite his unconventional path to the top. The knockout artist has shown time and again that he possesses the kind of power that can change a fight in an instant. His victories over both Hooney and Parker demonstrated that he belongs among the division's elite, and his elevation to WBO champion status cements his position as a legitimate force in the heavyweight landscape. The chess match of negotiations and public statements continues to play out in the media. Wardley has made it clear he has no intention of being a champion who hides behind his belt, taking easy defenses against carefully selected opposition. He wants the biggest names and the most challenging fights, viewing his championship as a platform to prove himself rather than a prize to be protected. This attitude makes him a particularly dangerous opponent for anyone contemplating a comeback, as he approaches every opportunity with the hunger of someone still building their legacy.
Read a few comments. I'm looking a bit hench, chubby, fat. Well, welcome to my world. Never been any different. Beat everybody with a fat belly. Never been any different. Never made any odds before. Why should it make any odds today? I weigh about 20 stone at the moment. Probably get down to around about under 19 maybe for the comeback. Nice and loose and fast. Really looking forward to it. Been away for a while, but I'm back now. I had a year out, and then if I box in the first quarter, could be up to 16 months out of the ring. So yeah, it's a long time for a man, 37-year-old, 38 this year. Let's see if I still got it.
The boxing world now waits to see how this drama unfolds. Will Fury successfully navigate his warm-up bout and build momentum toward bigger challenges? Will Wardley continue his remarkable ascent and prove he deserves to be mentioned among the division's elite? The answers to these questions will emerge over the coming months as both fighters pursue their respective goals in what promises to be a fascinating year for the heavyweight division.